Hi everybody, this is Ms. Peachy from your WCA Marine Science class, and I am going to do a short video tutorial on how to do your Unit 2 portfolio, the second portfolio for the unit, where you need to talk about global climate change. Now, what I've been noticing is that many people are mistakenly thinking that they're doing a portfolio on climate change, but that's not really the purpose of this portfolio. The purpose of this portfolio is to review some articles on global climate change and to analyze them for how good the science is presented within the articles. So you're really doing more of an article analysis than you are doing a research project on global climate change. Okay, so let's look at that real carefully here. I go on to this slide here and kind of show you what I am looking at here. So when we're looking at an article and want to evaluate it, I want you to use kind of these criteria for that article. You're going to find out what is the goal or author's purpose for writing the article. Some of the things that we talked about in the live lesson that I did as far as those go is, are they trying to communicate and talk about a new discovery? Is this a controversial issue that is a debate? Is that what the article is about? Is it a profile of like a scientist or a scientific group? Are they trying to explain a basic concept, or are they presenting new questions that the research actually has brought forth? Or are they discussing possible solutions to a problem? The second thing you're going to look at here in this list is this an informational or argumentative article? And it could be both. It could be presenting both information and taking a stance. If it's truly only informative, it's not going to have a stance either way. It's going to typically present both sides of an issue and not take a stance, or not present an issue that is controversial. If it's argumentative, it'll be one side of an issue. And if it is informational and argumentative at the same time, it's going to be talking about the science behind it, but also giving a viewpoint. Okay? So another thing to look at is metaphors, analogies, and other literary devices that are used within the article. Are they effective? What are they? And are they complementing or detracting from the scientific basis of the article? Are these metaphors and analogies useful in helping to understand the science, or are they there to undermine kind of what the science is trying to say? Who were the experts? This is very important. Who are the experts in the article? Is the author herself or himself an expert in the field? Are they citing experts? And if so, what are their expertises in, and what are their qualifications? You want to be very, very skeptical and know who it is that is supposedly an expert that is being quoted in the article, or is providing information that is said to be factual. Statistics are exceptionally important. They can be very, very confusing. Okay, so look at the data. What kind of data are cited? Is it percent, numerical, like a number, quantity of something? Is it a percent change? Is it going to be presented? We should think about that for a second. Well, there's lots of ways in which data can be presented. Another question is like how significant is the data? Is this something like where one group, the test group, had a 47% increase in their test scores, whereas the control group had a 45% increase in their test scores? Even though there is a difference between the two groups, is that a significant difference? Is that a big difference, or is that something that would be considered statistically significant? But where did the data come from? Do they even tell you in the article, or they just present it as though it's true? How was the data collected? What was the experiment like, and like how many participants were in the experiment, how many subjects, and how good and meaningful is this data? It's exceptionally important to look at, and oftentimes we just take it at face value, when in fact you really need to have a critical eye when looking at the data. Are there biases? Are there any biases that are presented by the author in this article? Can you see political biases? Do you see biases in terms of somebody who would benefit monetarily from people believing what they read in this article? So what's the benefit to the author of the article or people the article is profiling? How was the scientific method used? So good science is going to follow the scientific method, so you need to know how the science that is being presented in the article, how is that gathered? How is that used? And is that reflected in the article? Okay? So your job for this portfolio is to find 3 different articles and to put them to the test, to read them and to analyze them. And you're going to, in your PowerPoint presentation, then summarize the article and then review them, just like this. Use a little chart like this to review them, and then decide whether or not you think, in summary, that the article is using good science, or is it very pseudoscientific, meaning it looks like it's using science from an uneducated perspective, but it's really not following any of these things. Or is it somewhere in the middle, and where would you think that would lie? I'm going to just pause this for a second so I can start it back up and show you where to find some good resources. Alright, so I wanted to make sure that you guys know where to find some good resources. Here you can see my class link. Now everybody should have class link on their Appleton Area School District homepage. You can log into it through the Appleton Area School District using your username and password that was provided to you. If you don't know this username or password, just contact me or contact your homeroom teacher and they will be able to get it for you. Once you do that, you'll have a lot of resources at your fingertips. The one I want to guide you to is under Library Research Resources right here. When you get to this, you'll see lots of different resources, and one that's a really good one to use is this one that says Opposing Viewpoints. And it's a good one because it does provide you with viewpoints on both sides of controversial issues. So here I'm going to put global warming. I may also put global climate change. It actually defaults to global warming and climate change, so I'm going to use that. And when you look at the side, you'll see that there are featured viewpoints, lots of different other things, and then we have things that are just news and magazine articles. Okay. Now, if you want to be able to find views on both sides of this scientific issue, then you may want to go to the featured viewpoints or viewpoints. And if we look here, for example, this one says climate change is not responsible for water scarcity. This one says climate change contributes to water scarcity. So obviously there are totally opposite sides of that viewpoint. Fracking does not contribute to global warming. Fracking does contribute to global warming. So these are giving you some complete, opposite viewpoints. The negative impact of climate change is overstated. Now, keep in mind that these are viewpoint essays, but they do give you where this comes from. So you can kind of see where this comes from here. And one of the cool things about it is it also gives you the tool on this side to be able to cite this source. So you can go to the citation tool, and as you can see here, you can actually copy and paste the citation into your works cited when you are completing your PowerPoint, which is always a good thing. I like that because I don't love doing works cited. So as you can see here, you're going to be able to read this article, and then you can use the tools that we talked about earlier to be able to analyze this article. And again, what you're submitting in your PowerPoint is not going to be you researching global climate change. It's going to be you analyzing 3 articles that discuss effects of global climate change or talk about what global climate change is. Okay, and you're going to be seeing whether or not that article is using good science or pseudoscience or somewhere in between by analyzing it and then summarizing it. Alright, so I think that's pretty much all I need to talk about with that. If you have any questions, which you still might have, regarding how to do this, give me a call or send me a webmail message. Otherwise, hopefully this will get you started out on the right foot. And remember that there is a rubric in the lesson for this that you should be using, that you need to complete the slides, but also a works cited. So hopefully that makes sense. Have a great day, everybody, and I will talk to you later.